shed. Every time you let someone in, and I can hear your heartbreak. I can hear the screams within your head. I can feel your heart shed. Every time you let someone in,
Usually if I'm feeling I'm trying to get out something that's negative, so I'm always kind of messing with the bass notes and the dark notes. And I move that to a strumming pattern, and then I try and sing with the strumming pattern.
Was diagnosed with bipolar, and I just dealt with a lot of really overpowering emotions, but I started dating this girl, and at the time I was just in a really existentialist, just nihilistic point in my life.
The best way we can prevent another guy from putting a gun to his head and pulling the trigger is to do this. That's it. This is therapeutic. Get it?
You can't stop the tidal wave from happening. But what you can do is know that the tidal wave is coming.
I may have started developing boundaries in relationship, but I did not develop boundaries in myself. And that's when, again, the emotions came up. And I ended up getting really destructive to where I was going out and partying and drinking a lot on my own, because I was like, oh, I'm independent, I have my job, I have my car, I have my house. I'm gonna go and have a glass of wine and date multiple people and just, feel what it's like to be a free bird in this world, right? And the truth of the matter was, I couldn't handle myself. I couldn't handle being alone.
The first work that I made after my father passed was actually quite messy and angry and tormented. And it was all about the inner structure of nature, but without the patience to sit with it, because I was still too tormented.
It really came down to a thought that was so simple. That's really the decision to let go. And when I was ready to finally just decide that and say, okay, I choose no longer to go back and forth and torment and torture myself. All I have to do is say goodbye, and I have to feel that.
My girlfriend at that time was cheating on me. And when I found out from her, she said it to me, my initial reaction, of course my heart was breaking. And she wasn't just cheating on me, she was actually hooking up with her ex-husband, who was still her husband, and it was really convoluted. And I laughed, I just laughed. And I wouldn't stop laughing. And she was like, what the heck is wrong with him? And it was either laugh or be really upset and really angry. And I wanted to be really angry. And I know that when I'm really angry, I can be really angry. So I was like, I need to just go the laughter route. And I just kept laughing. And it was almost maniacal, but it was better than being angry. And
ultimately it doesn't serve us to focus on the loss. You just need to give thanks and gratitude, of what was.
When things are dark and when the darkness seems sort of unrelenting, just remembering that things change.
Because it's all about giving up the insane stories that make other people responsible for our worth, and coming back to sanity, coming back to all any of us want is to give our gift. It's not even, we're not really here to get shit from the world. Most people who have a lot are fucking miserable.
My world, you are the light of your world, and every human is the light of their own world. And if we forget that, we think that we must get things from other people or things. We have to go shopping, we have to have a partner, we have to have something to be complete. But if we can all remember that we are the light of the world, I am the light of my world. So nobody can take from me my greatest joy, no one can take my light from me, because I am the light.
In it, because when you break something down like that and then you rebuild, it's never exactly the way it was before. It's now transformed. And then in the music, it's in every song. Love and loss, it's in every single song. And in fact, most of my music surrounds that theme to one extent or another.
and I decided to work with both, because for me, both death and love are the most meaningful aspects of a human experience.
At this one event, and he shared this equation, and this was shortly after my daughter Bella died. And he said, you know, events plus response equal outcome. And I thought, that's it. Exactly. Because all of the events that had happened through our journey with Bella, first, you know, giving birth to a child with a rare fatal skin disease that was undiagnosed beforehand, and total surprise. And then going through her getting sick and almost dying, then going through the bone marrow transplant, having it go horribly wrong, and spending 99 days in the ICU with her before she dies. All of these events, people, it would have been really easy and understandable to just label tragedy, 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 right? Like automatic. But I realized early on, if I was going to survive and function, I had to create like a moment, like a wedge in between the event and that automatic debilitating response, because there's no way I would be able to function as a dad and as a husband if all those things were occurring as a tragedy. It was like I was fighting for survival, for my own spiritual and mental survival.
And of course, this one was inspired by the woman he left me for. And it's very, very joyful for me to sing it, because every time I sing I hate blonde girls, and when I wrote it, it was finally my time to be a little angry, because I never got angry with the breakup, and it was my moment to be angry.
Because, you know, of course, when you first hurt, it can be definitely really hard, and make you kind of like look at everybody like, I don't trust nobody, and I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to feel that again. Never want to feel that again. Honestly, I don't ever want to feel that again. But most times that never wanting to feel it again is what makes you push it away.
There's always a lesson. There are always multiple lessons, and they've each made me a better person and more aware of the things that I need to work on. But I also tend to look back and I'm like, oh, okay, that relationship was holding me down to this one place where I wouldn't be able to grow.
And music is a way to really express these intense feelings without, you know, physically hurting yourself. So
you watch them die, run, run, run. Society says, run, run, run. You're less than human. Run, run, run. The weak must die.
Well, mental illness it's a lot better than it was, but it's still very, very stigmatized. So it's not just something you can bring up in casual conversation.
Water in my body to be able to cry that much, you know, to just sob and sob and sob. And I wrote lots of lyrics and chorus and songs.
For the ones who thought it would never come. And this is a song for the broken-hearted and for the ones still waiting for the rise.
If I didn't have my music, I do not know where I would be.
The world, the way I expressed my anger, I was angry towards myself and my self-destructive ways. And then the angry black man in me came out through my art, through writing poetry, through having the guts and the mental strength to be a black man and perform poetry in a KKK outfit. That basically that's where all my, that's where all my anger and rage into was my art, you know, so, and that's how I was able to let it out, you know what I'm saying, and that's how I became an angry black man, through the innocence of my art, through the innocent rage of my writing and my performance, that, okay, I'm angry, but I'm going to express this anger through my art and not let my anger cause me to continue to disseminate or replicate the anger and the violence in Black America, what young black men and Latino men are doing right now today.
Things that I wouldn't
I wish it didn't happen. Losing my baseball career, being crippled, going through some really hard surgeries and having the cancer. And also, I wished I wouldn't have had a divorce. You know, I have marks, wounds, and scars. God's not worried about this. What did I do with them? See, if people don't give up all the anger and unforgiveness and resentment and hostility, it'll turn into bitterness, and bitterness will make you sick, literally.
Parent, you know, you'll get through it, is what you said in the lyrics, right?
Until my people's locked down doing time in prison, just wilding and illing with that time you given, stay productive. Find a purpose in your life and stick to it. Think through it. Get through the confusion. Yeah, life deals cruel blows and twisted memories, but where there's a will, there's a way to make it out the misery. And the people that you love constantly lie to you, while the spirits of life and death war inside of you. Females can find their deepest secrets, but the world is just too preoccupied to peep it. So she cut the car on in the garage one night, slowly died when she clogged up the exhaust pipe. Suicide is a self-portrait of turbulence, painted by an artist with no life perseverance. To get through the hardship, we chuckle and laugh, but just keep living, this too shall pass.
Call it harmony, some call it symphony. The simple connection of two souls. You see, the world turns as we all live and learn. Baby, teaching me my lessons on the road. After all, what can best foot down? Lord knows the road is tough, yeah. We all got to work it out. I say, love now with all your heart. I say, come on and get your best foot down. Lord knows the road was tough. We've all got to work it out.